What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about another film that was released last year, and this is an Apple original film. And I'd heard some people talk about this movie, and I have been recommended this movie a few times by people in my comments. And I read the description of this film, and it sounded really interesting. It sounded like it would be something that would be right up my alley, and it also has a ton of actors in it that I really enjoy. And I'm looking forward to telling you about this movie today, and the film I'm going to be discussing is Fingernails. Fingernails is directed by Christos Nikou. Anna and Ryan have found true love together. It's been proven by a controversial test. There's just one problem. Anna still isn't sure. Then she meets Amir. So as I said, I read the plot description of this film, had some people recommend this movie to me. There are a ton of actors in this movie that I really like, and I read some reviews initially before I watched this movie, and the reviews are kind of all over the place. People either really like this, or they were let down by it, or somewhere in the middle. I fall into the I really liked this movie a lot. I thought it was fantastic. This is honestly a film that feels like it was made for someone like me. There's so much in this movie that I connected with and can understand the feelings that the movie is trying to convey. And what I really like about this, similar to a lot of the directors that I enjoy who are working currently, very specifically, and a lot of people brought this up in their comparison in this movie, is Yorgos Lanthimos. And I think what I love so much about Yorgos is he makes films that are very large societal commentaries by using really bizarre premises and things that just feel like they would never happen in real life. This feels very similar to that, but done in a smaller scale and kind of quieter way that I can really appreciate. Yorgos is a very bombastic director. He really keeps you on the edge of your seat with how absurd a lot of the premises of his films are. And this has a pretty ridiculous premise, but everything surrounding it is so quiet and realistic. And I'm looking forward to talking about the film with you today. So at the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Anna, played by Jessie Buckley, and Ryan, played by Jeremy Allen White. They're in a relationship. We see them living at home together. They go to a party with friends. And we find out very shortly after, through conversations, in this reality that they live in, there is a way to genuinely find out whether or not you are in love with someone. And the way that you do it is you go to these facilities and they rip your fingernail out and they put it in a machine with your partner's fingernail. And the machine is able to tell you whether or not you're compatible. It'll tell you whether one person is interested or neither of them are interested, or if you're both interested. And this is meant to eliminate a lot of the uncertainty that people have in relationships, and is meant so that you can just be like, hey, this is my person. I found the person I'm supposed to spend my life with. And we see Anna and Ryan interact, and they have moments in their relationship where you can see genuine happiness between the two of them, but Anna feels like there's something missing in their relationship. You can tell that she's uncertain despite the fact that they have both tested positive for this relationship test. She doesn't seem 100% sold on it. And at the beginning of the movie, we find out she's trying to apply for these jobs. She is a school teacher and she's trying to find a job at a school, but she ends up applying at one of these facilities that tests these fingernails, and she ends up getting hired at the job. But she does not tell Ryan that she has been hired for this job. And we see her go work at this job. She starts to learn how the process works. The couples that go in do all of these different tasks together. Some of them are kind of ridiculous, and it's really interesting. The facility's head up by Luke Wilson's character. It was nice to see Luke Wilson in something. I feel like I don't see him in a whole lot anymore, and he did really well in his role in this movie. And shortly after, we're introduced to Amir, played by Riz Ahmed, who worked at this facility. He's one of the people that works very closely with these couples, and he ends up training Anna on how to do this job. And the two of them start spending a lot of time together, and you can feel their chemistry start to build. And her meeting Amir kind of puts this idea in her head of, is my current relationship working the best it should be? Am I more compatible with this person? And the entire film is watching Anna try to decide what's the best decision for her life and who should she end up with. So as I said, I really liked this movie a lot. I thought it was fantastic. It's very subtle and quiet and slower paced, but I think what's so great about it is the premise, as I said, is ridiculous. The idea that you can go into a facility, get your fingernail removed, put into a machine, and it can tell you whether or not you're compatible with someone is a ridiculous premise. It's absolutely absurd. But what I love about it is everything surrounding it, and the day-to-day life interactions feel very stripped down and realistic and natural. It's never like overblown Hollywood drama. It just feels like real people. And most of that is due to the incredible performances in this movie. Jessie Buckley is fantastic as our lead character in this. I feel like so much of her performance is through her reaction to certain things. And she has a lot of scenes where we get a lot of close-ups on her face and how she's interacting in certain circumstances, or like when she's working with these couples and she looks at Riz Ahmed's character longingly, wondering if this would be a better decision for her life. She just does a really great job at really living this character, and then going back home to her partner and, seemingly wanting that to work, but not knowing whether or not it actually will, despite the fact that they've been paired. You can see the issues arising and the little bits of tension that spark in their relationship that doesn't necessarily feel like they're 100% compatible. And I think Riz Ahmed and Jeremy Allen White both do an amazing job at playing her respective partners. Jeremy Allen White's character, he loves her, you can see that, but he's also kind of stuck in his own world and doesn't always pay attention to her needs. He's kind of just like, when you're in a relationship and two people are there for each other, you kind of look out for one another, and it seems like he's kind of in his own world and doesn't necessarily see the grand scheme of their relationship as much as Anna sees their relationship. And then Riz Ahmed's character, he is charismatic, he's charming, he's funny, and you can just see that his personality and Anna's personalities really mesh together well. And it's interesting to watch their characters grow throughout the length of the film. I really liked the way this thing was shot. It's very muted color-wise, and I think it complements the feeling of the movie. It is a very cold and empty feeling movie, and I think it's because of the emotion that it's trying to reflect, and the emotion that a lot of people have. I also thought the movie was a really fantastic commentary on our current culture. Obviously, in this world, you get to a point where this procedure can tell you whether or not relationships work, but we live in a society that is filled with dating apps and meetups and all of these things that were pushed by social media and by society to say, hey, this is how you can guaranteed 100% foolproof make a relationship work for you. And there's books out there and there's influencers online who tell you how to make a relationship work. But at the end of the day, you can do those things and you can apply those things to your life, but love is love. Really, when you meet someone, the only way it's going to work is if the two of you click and if the two of you want to make it work. Human beings are inherently flawed. I think it's silly to think that any person on this planet is a 100% match for someone else. Even the strongest relationships that I've seen in my life, there are hurdles to jump over. There are things that you have to go through together. And the best relationships I've seen are the ones who work together as a team, and the people who can kind of push everything out of the way and really work together to stay true to one another. And I think what's so interesting about this film is thinking about the idea that you could feel some sort of comfort in a machine telling you that you're meant to be together. Because I love that the film, despite those couples getting that, a lot of those couples end up going and retesting and trying to figure out whether or not it was successful or whether or not it was a fluke. Because at the end of the day, no test or anything is going to be able to tell you whether or not your relationship's going to work. You know that person, you understand that person, you've been with that person, and you know how you cohabitate with them, and you know how you interact with them. And the movie was just a really great representation of that. It had this really great idea about romantic longing, and like someone who is in a relationship for a long period of time and then being put in a situation where they want to feel that kind of initial spark again. And the way that it conveyed it on screen, Jessie Buckley's character tries to do things with Ryan, with Jeremy Allen White's character, to kind of spark those initial feelings. And he's kind of like, hey, why don't we just do the same things that we've always done? And it was really interesting. And I feel like the film provides a lot more complexity than people are giving it credit for. And in watching it, I just really liked picking it apart. I thought that it was really fantastic. And I really look forward to seeing whatever this director makes next. I'll be really excited to see whatever film that he puts out. about in the future. So have you seen Fingernails? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic. I expected to enjoy it based on the premise, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.